Hi everybody, welcome back. Steven Pettis here with you. So for this video, we're going to go over continue the drawing sheets. So I already went ahead. What we're going to cover today is we're going to cover diaphragm, um, diaphragm dimensioning, and material takeoff. So these are the three sheets. I already labeled everything accordingly. So if you want to go ahead and do that, you can do that. If not, you can just learn what you will need to learn from this thing. Move forward. Um, So alright, let's get started. For the diaphragm, this one I want to show you how to use ballooning and bill of materials. So for this one, we want to input the diaphragm. So we're going to have to go to the ellipses up here, view palette, click the ellipses. We want to select the assembly we want to go over. So in this case, it's diaphragm. We're going to select top, click and drag. You can click and drag it and put it right here. So this is the initial sheet. We want to make this bigger, so we're gonna go to over here on the left, change the draft quality, scale. Should make this 1 to 2. All right, 1 to 2 works fine. Keep it like that. So I'm gonna press Alt, position this a letter, and then click it. Left click helps me position this. So now, so to do bill of materials, you want to select the object you want to get a bill of materials on. Then you're gonna go to annotation, and then tables on the ribbon, and then select bill of materials. And right now we want to do parts only. So top level would be if it's an assembly, so just do like if it has multiple sub assemblies, so it'll only do the sub assemblies. But or you can do parts or literally do everything. So we're gonna go with parts only. Press OK, and there it is. There's your bill of assembly, bill of materials. I want to delete this description. It's kind of not necessary, and then you can position this. It'll lock into place. There it is. There's every part in this little diaphragm. So you can select, right click the column. You could sort this. I recommend putting this in alphabetical order because when you have more parts, let's say you have 20 parts, it's easier to find one if it's in alphabetical order. So I suggest doing that, knowing how to sort it. Now we have our bill of materials. Now we want to identify each part of this. So here's a cool feature this can help you with. You can go to annotate again. You can do balloon, and this will help label everything. So if you were to label this, there it is. You can do 2 to 1. That's what that is. Click, label everything. You can do it like that. Then you can actually enter a magnetic line. A magnetic line is basically helps everything align. So if you have the magnetic line, it'll let you do this. So that is, or if you want to do it manually, but sometimes there's also a feature. There is a feature called auto balloon, and what it'll do is you select this object, you select the frame, and it'll auto balloon everything. So in this case, what we want to do is we want to start at number 1 and go increments of 1. Yes, yes. Ignore multiple instances. This time we want to highlight every single part in here. So we're going to do ignore, and it'll highlight everything. Leader attachment is basically these little leader arrows. These are kind of, when you have more complicated diaphragm, these are hard to find. But if you were to do faces, it'll select on center, so it's a little more easier to identify. So we're going to select OK, go with that. These have magnetic lines in place, so we want to, now you just basically organizing everything, making it easier to the eye. So you can position this in such a way, or you can just move this along the magnetic line. And there it is. It's a lot more easier to read, organize, Control S to save. So that's this part of diaphragm, bill of materials, and dimensioning. Next, I want to show, not dimensioning, auto ballooning and bill of materials. Next one, I want to show dimensions. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to insert the model. In this case, let's insert the diaphragm. Let's put that in here. So we saw 1 to 2 is a good one, so we're going to go with that. Custom scale, 1 to 2. All right, there it is. So what you could do is, because you've already input all these dimensions, you can quickly go over here to the ribbon, annotation, model items, and if you select, when you go to your source, you can select selected feature, and it'll just, whatever you select, it'll dimension it. Or if you select the entire model and then you press OK, it'll give you dimensions as much as it could. Sometimes it doesn't always give you the most, but usually this comes a lot handier when you're trying to dimension parts, because those parts are a lot easier because it'll literally just have everything you need. But right now it doesn't give you everything, so what you can do right now is basically smart dimension, and you can dimension everything on your own. So I'm gonna select corner to corner, and then I'm gonna select from these bays, these little bays. So select all these little bays. I didn't select right. So let's select corner to corner. All of these little bays, these little bays. All right. So one thing to know is what you'll start noticing is like these are annotative dimensions, so it's going to be of a lighter color than actual model item dimensioning. Because this, like if I were to click on this and change this to 7, it'll literally go into your model and change this to 7 inches. So if I do that, I can choose to 7 and it'll change everything. I don't want to do that, so I'm not going to do that. But that'll just so you know it'll do that. So be careful just changing things. It'll literally go back into that parts file and change it. So it's cool to know. It's kind of risky to be doing, I guess, but all right. So for now, just a good thing to note is, oops, let's go back. If you highlight something over here on the left, you can adjust a couple of things. So if you're to, this right here is the number of sig figs. So if I were to do 5, it'll literally give me more decimal points. In this case, 2 is fine, makes sense, but keep that in mind. Over here is basically how the words come out. So if you were to put inch marks right here, you'll get inch marks on this side. So that helps. You can just keep it like that. I usually like just to put a note that put alt dimensioning is in inches, but that'll do. And then if you do this feature right here, it'll center your dimension, so keep everything straight and center. So that's a good one to have. So you know what? I'll just do all of them like that. Center, center, just in case something's off. You can just push this out a little bit. And sometimes you see, like, say I move that and it's crooked, you can actually select everything and you can align everything so it can be just to look nice, you know, make everything look nice. So I'm gonna right click, go to align, and then align horizontal. You can change it as you go, but or align horizontal, and it'll position everything correctly. So see that I had aligned everything. Well, I'll move it. I'll move it out of line, and then I'll align it just to show it again. So there it is. You see, it's on a straight line. Everything got thicknesses, what I really need. So I feel that's a good one. And then if you want to do individual parts, I suggest you do. So we do multiple sets of drawings. I do suggest doing different sets of plans for one general overview that has everything, all of the main assemblies, and then do another drawing set for each individual assembly that has maybe like for the diaphragm, you'll do dimensioning and sizing for each individual part. So it might be overkill, but hey, you know what? Might as well. If you're trying to, if you have plenty of people helping out, might as well have them do something, help out with help out with the project. So the next thing is the material takeoff. So right here is a good part. You want to do the same thing. We're gonna select, go to our view palette. This time let's change this to model. We want to encompass everything. So a good thing to do is you can just literally select ISO view or whatever. I guess let's just do a front view. We'll do a front view just for now, I guess. Draft, little adjustments. User defined 1.5. How does that look? Oh, that's huge. So 2, that's huge too. 3, oh, that's a fair size. So I'm gonna leave that there. Enter or check. So there it is. Now I'm doing bill of materials for this. So same thing, bill of materials. In this case, let's go with top level. So top level, since this is a collection of assemblies, the final model has sub assemblies inside. This is only going to give me like the columns, the bracing, and the base plate, and maybe some other stuff I may have forgotten. So let's go ahead and press OK. Oh, there it is. You see, in diaphragms, individual diaphragms. So at least now you know, like, oh, there's 3 diaphragms in this one. So let's leave that there. I'm gonna sort this because you want to. It's always good to have things in alphabetical order. So there's that. We'll call that top level. Let's just label that now. We'll call that top level. Top level parts. Let's make it look nice over here. So there's that. But now this is where the good stuff comes. Is now you want to find out every single part in this model. So this is where you do bill of materials, and you're literally gonna go parts only, and it'll give you full quantities on everything. But it won't give you like diaphragms and columns. It'll give you like how many of those individual column parts do you need for that one column, you know. So right here we'll do just delete that description box, align this a little better, and then we'll call this, you know what, move this up a little more so it's a little more separated, a little more distinct. Alright, so we'll call this uh, total model, total model, and there it is. Oh, and then sort it. Like I said, you want to sort everything. Bam. So there it is. There's literally every single component, every single part. How many you need? 12 of these beam ones, 15, 12 of these east braces, everything, girders, bases, and everything. So it'll give you a full material takeoff of everything if you do it in that particular manner. Um, so basically, just going forward, I feel like these 6 sheets cover every little feature that you would want it to use. There's probably a lot more that I wasn't aware of. So if you learn something, I suggest you just let the team know, like, hey, I found something else watching a particular YouTube video. That's the way I learned. I used a lot of YouTube videos to just pick up these little methods. I thought I put it together perfectly for the team, and like I said, just if you learn something new, spread it down to the team, pass it down class to class. And yeah, so I guess going forward, you can more practice. You can do as you start making your models, you get a little more detail with these drawings, more precise and more specific. But just know there's particular features like auto balloon, model items, little things like that that can help you build materials that can help you speed up this process. So when you're making everything makes a little more sense. So now I'm just gonna remember Control Save, and there's everything. So now if you want to print this, what you would do is you're going to go to File, and you can just print. So I was going to ask, this is my printer right here. So how do I want to print this? Oh, my bad. No, you don't want to print it like that. You can print like that, or I believe you can do, uh, a lot of times what I'll do, I want to save it as a PDF. So you can do save as a PDF. So what you do is you go save PDF, and then there it is. Your drawings is going to start exporting everything. So it's going to ask you want to export everything, and I'll print everything, and there it is. It's just recording everything. And if I were to go to the file, I'll have a PDF. I'll do it like this because I would upload the PDF files to our hard drive, and there's everything. There's all of your drawings. There's everything right here. It always comes out with this educational logo, instructional, so you can't get rid of that. SolidWorks setup. But there it is, pretty much everything you would want. Um, yeah, so that's pretty much everything you need. Good way to print everything. Um, yeah, there it is, guys. Thank you for doing this tutorial.